Yeah, in fairness to the All Blacks, I thought they played exceptionally well. They were outstanding on attack. To concede the try on half-time was disappointing. I thought 21-10 would have been, not bad after they'd started so well, and then we got back into the game. And there probably wasn't a lot of difference between the two sides in the second half. I thought we played a lot better in the second half. It was obvious to me, just watching the first half of that, with that 5-day turnaround after having played South Africa and losing 4 players in that game, that some players had definitely struggled a bit with the game being so quick in terms of the turnaround. But I thought the bench gave us some impetus when they came on, and it was good. I'm pleased with that. But no complaints about the result. I thought the All Blacks were great, and they deserved to win.
Warren, it feels like we've asked you a lot about your emotions in the week leading up to this game, but can you give us an idea of how it felt to know that you delivered your final speech to the players?
It was about the players. I mean, Sean Edwards spoke to the group, and so did Robin McBride, and Alan Phillips had a few words as well. So there wasn't a lot to be said. We spoke about the opportunity to go out there and to play a pretty good side. We spoke about how disappointed we were that we weren't in the final, but to play the All Blacks was, at least that was a game that you could, look forward to, and because obviously they're a quality side. There wasn't. I think I've already gone through that sort of process of knowing it was my last game and not trying to get too emotional about it. It had come to a realisation a while ago, and so it's something that had prepared myself for, and then to start thinking about the next challenges in life. And I really hope for what we have achieved in the last 10 or 12 years, and we feel like we've earned respect and puts respect back into Wales as an international team, that they continue, the new coaches come in and continue to build on that, because I think what we've done, what we've achieved, it would break my heart if Wales went back into the doldrums, I think.
Alun Wyn, what was your reaction to the game? And you had a nice moment with your daughters at the end there. Could you just talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, the game, it's a funny one. I think obviously going into the bronze final, you got 2-day training weeks. We didn't really have a lot of time to think about it, which isn't a bad thing. Whereas usually you go into an autumn and you've got the playing New Zealand with 4th game or 3rd game, and that build-up is always in the back of your mind. So it was quite nice to really just to have the short week and get into it. But credit to them, I think they had a point to prove after obviously their loss to England. But I'm proud of the riposte throughout the game that we had, particularly, like I said, with the bench. And it's nice to share those moments with the family, because, as he said, I think it was one of those 10 that's not going to make the next World Cup. So, you've got to cherish those moments. And he's true to his word. It's always been about the player and the family, and we've got to make most of those opportunities.
Please raise your hand.
Warren, what will you miss most about this squad of players?
Just their attitude. They're a great bunch of men to work with. I think everywhere that we've been, hotels or training venues, the feedback that we've had has been incredibly positive from the way that this group of players have conducted themselves in hotels, and they're incredibly hospitable in terms of how polite they are and engaging with the fans and the public. And any time they've been asked for autographs and things, so they've just been exemplary in terms of the way that they've conducted themselves since we've been in Japan. And they never complain about how hard they train and how hard they work. And if you ask them to run through a brick wall, the next question will be, what do you want me to do when I get to the other side? So that's kind of and for such a small playing nation, we have to really push ourselves hard because we don't have the same number of players and the depth of players. So you've just got to wring the sponge as dry as you possibly can, because it's a way that we have performed and got results in the past.
Warren, you said it would break your heart if your success wasn't capitalised on after you've left. What do you hope the near future looks like for this Welsh squad?
Yeah, I just want them to continue. There's an opportunity. I think it's been good for Stephen being out here and seeing how things are run, and there's an opportunity for the new group to come in and to build on what we've created and to improve on that. And it's difficult. We know how tough it is to win Six Nations, so it's not to be too greedy in terms of winning the Six Nations every year, but it's going in and performing well in Six Nations, and to continue to hopefully get a few Six Nations titles over the way, and to make sure that we're as competitive as we possibly can be against the other top nations, and we feel like that we have done that, and I really want Wales to continue to build on that. There's some work to do in the regions. There's obviously work in developing depth and the academies and structures within the regions, and that would help the national team, and so hopefully they continue to build on that and work with that going forward. But I just want to continue to see these boys be as successful as they possibly can.
神奈川新聞の矢部と申します。今日はお疲れ様でした。監督とキャプテンに質問です。この日本大会ですけれども、アジアでは初めてとなるワールドカップが行われて、いつもであればイングランドだったりニュージーランドだったり、そういう本場の国でやってた大会ですけども、それと違ってここの大会で幕を閉じるということ、どういうふうに意義を捉えていますでしょうか。この大会の盛り上がりであったり、そういうものを感じたことを教えてください。
I think the tournament in Japan has been absolutely outstanding. I think it's essential that World Rugby look to continue to grow the game as much as they possibly can, and by exposing a lot more people to the game here in Asia or in Japan in particular. Hopefully in the future we'll see more kids start to play the game and to become and come to love the game. So that's the challenges for World Rugby, and continuing to make other nations more competitive and with better competitions. And there are other, I think, regions in the world where the World Cup would be successful. I think it's been incredibly successful. This tournament in Japan, we've loved our time here. The people have been wonderful to us. And culturally, it's been a great experience for the coaches and the players. And there are other, like I said, there are other regions where I think the game, potentially going forward could be played in, like America or something like that. I think that would create a lot of traction for the game and building the game and getting more people involved in this fantastic game of rugby.
Warren, what weaknesses in that Welsh team do you think you can expose on for the Barbars on the 30th of November? And what do you think that occasion will be like for yourself in Cardiff?
Really looking forward to that game. I think from my point of view is just being able to go out there and throw a couple of moves and stuff that they wouldn't have expected. Want to be positive in the way that potentially both teams play. I know the Barbarians will throw the ball around. I haven't really thought too far ahead about that game, but by all accounts, they've already sold a lot of tickets. I think about 50,000 tickets, so there'll be a good crowd there, and hopefully it gives me a chance to say thank you to the Welsh public and the fans, and express my sincere thanks in terms of how much I've enjoyed this last 12 years.
In the back.
Warren, what excites you about the next 4 years of rugby that's laid ahead for you, obviously with the Chiefs and also with the British and Irish Lions? What excites you, and how hard do you think it's going to be to keep the level that you have attained at the moment, which is up there right the way through that particular next stretch of your career?
It's to be honest, I was hoping to take about 6 months off. That was a plan, and then to do the Lions, but I had an approach from the Chiefs, and I kind of felt if I didn't take that role, then it wouldn't be there after the Lions. And thankfully, New Zealand Rugby Union allowed me to take that, and they gave me a year sabbatical. So that will be a real challenge. Looking forward to the Lions in South Africa, and it'll be my 4th Lions tour. One as an assistant and 3 as head coach. And if South Africa win tomorrow, then 3 of those 4 Lions tours would have been playing against the world champions. So that's makes it exciting, but it makes it incredibly challenging as well. So really looking forward to the Chiefs and getting back home, and but looking at the squad and some exciting young players coming through. I think hopefully we can do well and set some high standards in terms of the expectations of the Chiefs in Super Rugby, and then I can look forward to a year with the Lions.
We have time for last 2 questions. The 2 in the front, please.
Warren, if you could have one bit of advice for the man who's going to come in and replace you, what would that be?
What a bit of advice would be. I think what we've done and created that's been special with this group is that we've always spoken about how important family is, and it's not about the rugby. It's putting family first. We're very lucky and very privileged to do what we do. But I have if things are right at home for the players, and we make the home life as easy as we possibly can, because it's not a normal job. It's weekends and stuff, and public holidays and Christmas and that. But if things are right at home, and then I know I get a better product on the training ground and on the rugby pitch. So we've always been. We haven't spoken about it. We haven't just talked about it. We've lived it, and that's really important. It's been some of one of the values that we've definitely I think lived in the squad since I've been involved, and it's definitely given us a lot of returns.
Alun Wyn, Warren's alluded to the future of Welsh rugby. I just wondered if you could sort of sum up where that is, and thanks to his efforts.
Well, I think his success has been unrivaled. Here we go, a bit of a love-in with Gats again. We've had a few over the last few months. But no, the success over the 12-year period is pretty unrivaled, isn't it? The Grand Slams, semi-finals, Rugby World Cup speak for themselves. And that foundation is there, and I think that's, I was there in 2007 when we didn't get very far in that World Cup, and to achieve what we have and re-establish a foundation of Welsh rugby. And we mentioned it I mentioned it in the change rooms afterwards. Identity. I think as a player you can sometimes get focused on the rugby and not who you are, and I think he and the coaching staff that are moving on have re-established that, and I think that's a massive thing. not only for players to build on, but it gives the country and the nation as a demographic something to hang their hat on, and you can't take that away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be following shortly with New Zealand Post Conference.